Hello and welcome to a short presentation highlighting the importance of interdisciplinary working when considering and using neurotechnology to support patients to achieve improvements in function. To start with, let's consider who makes up an interdisciplinary team, or IDT. An interdisciplinary team is a group of different people working together to help the patient achieve their goals. The team naturally includes clinical staff, such as physiotherapists, occupational therapists, speech and language therapists, psychologists, and the medical and care teams. But the IDT is not just about the treating team. The equipment has to be able to work in an interdisciplinary way, so researchers, developers, engineers, and funders are all important parts of the wider IDT. An interdisciplinary approach allows you to do holistic therapy rather than focusing on physiotherapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy in isolation. This allows the patient to achieve functional goals. This patient's goal is to make a cup of tea, and you can see how many different functions have to come together to allow them to complete the task. Each member of the team will have specialist knowledge of a specific area of impairment, and by combining this specialist knowledge, they can work on completion of the whole activity and therefore improve function. IDT sessions allow the patient to work on the whole task rather than addressing each individual impairment in isolation. Different members of the IDT are likely to approach technology in different ways. A physio may well look at a piece of equipment and see something it can do. An occupational therapist or a speech therapist might look at it and see something completely different. Often we find that a piece of equipment designed for one purpose, for example, upper limb range of movement, can actually be used to work on other functions such as attention, scanning, or language. Therapists may even use machines in ways designers may never have envisaged, feeding back into the wider IDT through innovation and collaboration. We know that two heads are always better than one, but technology itself can support the IDT and allows us to be more creative and ambitious with our sessions. Once a piece of equipment has been set up by the specialist members of the IDT to work on many different areas of impairment, for example, attention, scanning, upper limb movement, and following two-step commands, then one therapist or a therapy assistant can run the session working on these combined activities, thus allowing increased dosage and more efficient allocation of staff resources. Technology itself supports greater task complexity through increased cognitive load and sensory stimulation. This lends itself really well to an IDT approach because each task is naturally multifunctional. This interdisciplinary use of technology underpins the Hobbs ethos of highly specialist but holistic, functional and high-quality rehab. It's how we work every day. This is an example of the clinical IDT in action, using a piece of technology to help a patient complete a functional task by working on different impairments at the same time. You can see how the speech and language therapist on the left is highlighting the key words on the screen. The physio next to the patient is supervising him with his balance and arm function, whilst the occupational therapist on the far side is supporting the patient to follow instructions, attend to and sequence his actions to complete the game. You can see how using the technology in this way will help the patient to achieve their goal of making a cup of tea by addressing a number of the impairments we highlighted in our picture earlier. This case also demonstrates how patients enjoy using technology in their rehab, engaging them in high-dosage activities that ultimately work on multiple impairments and improve their function. You can also see how following the initial setup, one therapist is able to use the technology holistically to work on all of the domains previously mentioned, reducing staff demand. The potential of using technology in this way is limitless with the correct design and clinical application. We're now going to introduce you to Will, who came to Hobbs Rehabilitation and used neurotechnology in this manner following a stroke.